Let's feed our heads. I recently saw in a popular online magazine a particularly dumb article that claimed that as science has revealed to us a mechanistic universe, we have confronted an existential crisis as we try to come to terms with the fact that the universe is a mechanism, our brains are a mechanism, and that the universe is therefore, quote, meaningless, end quote. Now here's why that's a supremely stupid statement in my humble opinion. Meaning is not a characteristic of things in themselves, but an experience, an event in the lives of a sentient entity like people or other animals. There are three kinds of meaning of that kind. One is intention, as in when I said, hey, why don't you come over for dinner and Netflix? I intended, why don't you come over for dinner and Netflix? One meaning of meaning. Most dictionary meanings are meanings of that kind, meanings as intentions. This is what you intend by the word. For a great book, by the way, on the subject of meaning as intention, I highly recommend the book of Validity and Interpretation by E.D. Hirsch Jr., my mentor. Great book. Hirsch, back before he was famous for his work in cultural literacy, was a great literary critic, a critic of Blake and Wordsworth, and he wrote brilliantly, I think, on meaning as intention. Okay. Now another meaning of meaning is significance to a person. Meaning as significance. As in, wow, those early psychedelic experiences were really meaningful to me. Meaning they were significant to me. Oh, by the way, I am not recommending that people take these very powerful and sometimes dangerous entheogens, except under medical supervision in a clinical setting. These are not to be played with. They're sacred substances, and they're not for casual recreation. Okay, meaning as significance. Let's consider that idea in light of the article that claimed that we're confronting the meaninglessness of the universe. Clearly, the universe is something that gives rise to entities like us, to which things are significant or not, that is, have meaning or not. Things either matter or do not to us. And that's a type of meaning, isn't it? Isn't it? If what you're doing in your life is not significant to you, by the way, you should think about doing something else. Now, you might be thinking I'm being a little disingenuous here, because philosophers, when they speak of meaning, are usually talking in terms of purpose, or often talking in terms of purpose. And they're making the claim that we have no given purpose. This was the claim, you'll remember, that Jean-Paul Sartre made. Letter openers have a preconceived purpose in the mind of the designer before they come into existence. Whereas people come into existence and there's no reason, according to Sartre, to do any particular thing or be any particular thing, and so our lives are meaningless and absurd because of this lack of a preordained purpose. As I explained in the previous videos, I think that's a crazy idea. I mean, downright crazy. At any rate, when philosophers talk about the meaninglessness of the universe, they're painting a picture of the universe as this mechanism that does not have any pre-existing purpose for the creatures that arise in it. Now that fashionable scientific, notice I said scientific and not scientific, idea that the universe is a mechanism and that it's therefore meaningless is one that goes all the way back to the Roman poet and philosopher Lucretius and his book De Rerum Natura, but it's not modern science at all. And this idea of a mechanistic billiard-balled universe that is meaningless, it just is not in keeping with contemporary science. And we'll learn a lot more about why it isn't in later videos in this series. Okay. Clearly, though, the universe gives rise to sentient entities like ourselves that have purposes, our meaning of meaning number 3, and to whom some things are significant and others are not, the meaning of meaning number 2. Some things in the world have value to us, and that value to us of things in the world, things around us, including other people, gives rise to purposes. And in fact, any rational ethics, as we'll find in a later talk in this series, must be based in that idea that the things of significance to us and to others, what matters, this is the basis for a rational ethics. And, that something matters to people is a fact about the world, as is, the speed of light is 300,000 kilometers per second. Okay. That we and other entities have wants and needs, bodily desires, for example, is a clue there that there are things in the world that give rise to significance, to mattering, and to purpose, to these two kinds of meaning. Philosophers often get mired in the muck because they don't pay proper attention to the everyday, quotidian meanings of words. Ludwig Wittgenstein, one of the greatest philosophers of the 20th century, was brilliant and eloquent about this topic in his later work, which caused the linguistic turn in philosophy in the 20th century. We should pay attention to the common, the ordinary, the everyday meanings of the intentions that people have when they use particular words. Why? Well, these meanings have been formed in the crucible of experience over hundreds of thousands of years. So what people ordinarily mean when they use the word meaning, that meant a lot to me. That's something that philosophers should pay attention to. Okay. Now, so meaning is about events in the lives of sentient entities. This matters to me, this matters to you. Now, later we're going to explore the idea that the universe itself is such a sentient entity. This is not a new idea. It's a very, very old one. In fact, almost all indigenous peoples held this idea. It's the root of religion and what we need to return to, I think. But at any rate, the universe gives rise to significance and it gives rise to purposes because it's filled with entities like us, like other animals, that to which things matter, they have significance, and that mattering gives rise to purpose. And that significance, that purpose, those are types of meaning. That's meaning arising in the universe. It's far from the case that the universe is meaningless. The universe is shot through with meaning. Here we are. Things matter to us. Okay. And because things matter to us, right, a rational ethics is possible, one that gives rise to our flourishing and the flourishing of other people and creatures. Working to achieve that flourishing is a great purpose, isn't it? In other words, we are the artists of meaning. Okay. Now that stuff about the universe being a mechanism, our brains being a mechanism, well, that's baloney too. Poppycock, which comes from that word poppycock from Indo-European roots, pap meaning baby, and caca, well, you know what caca is. Okay, that's a different kind of stupid, and we'll address that in later videos in this series. All right. Peace, love, happiness, meaningful, significant experiences to you. Now go off and feed your head.